Now does it say you're live right now?
Yeah.
Does it say keep your clothes on?
8 seconds in.
Does it say keep your clothes on?
Yes, it does, I'm afraid, which is a little disappointing.
I told you, just because you go over to that other channel for a little while, I don't know your politics. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm back.
What's that?
I'm back.
We're all back. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you again. Saying hi to Marnie and Trish and Annabelle. We're right here. Don't you worry. We're right here. Andy, good to see you. Tina, got your message. Thank you. I'll get back to you here in a second. Yeah, I've seen a few old names, new names. Tina, how you been? Tina, I miss you. All right, guys. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, who'd I miss? I just saw it and I flipped right through it. Mimi, how are you?
Where can I get the chat? I can't
POH,
see it.
how you doing? What's that?
I can't find it on mine, the chat.
Oh, you know what? I might be the only one able to see it. So we're working in new software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll read you the good ones. I'll read you the good ones. POH is saying, there you guys are. Hi, Penny. I love Brandon so much that I wanted to make you jealous. I'm just going to read those out loud. Suzanne said, I can't. It's so great to see the two of you at 6:45. Brandon, thanks for breakfast. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm only kidding. They're happy to see us.
What have you been up to behind my back?
I have a book and a YouTube channel, and I travel the world. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I see. Okay,
that's all I'm going to say. Okay. So we've got some exciting stuff here today. And again, we're going to keep it tight. We're watching our time. We're actually producing this now. And the live format is really the best way for us to go. We are going to podcast this, and Penny's going to talk about some new ventures she's got going on. I'm going to talk about some stuff I've got going on. Life and love is like an accordion. You go apart for a little bit, you figure it out, and then you figure out the right notes to play when you come back together. Right? You look good, kid.
But isn't it nice now we're back together again?
Quit eyeballing me. My eyes are up here, lady. My eyes are up here. You look fabulous. I love the new hairstyle, by the way. And by the way, we do watch each other's videos and make comments on them. It's not like we're like, oh yeah, girl, I can't quit you. But what's going on with the hairstyle? Like catch us up on that. I mean, I know you're feeling better. Well, this is part of it too.
I've been trying to grow this bit because I want this bit to be a bit longer and a bit more kind of floppy.
Like in a
floppy in a good way.
In a flock of seagulls sort of way.
Yeah, something like that. So it's getting there. It's getting there. But how have you been? I've missed you.
Good. I mean, listen, I'm busier than a one-arm paper hanger. I was just in Syracuse. I've been down to, where was I in Florida? I was in Punta Gorda. I've got a couple of shows coming up. I'm in upstate. I was just, like I said, Syracuse this past weekend. I'm going down to Port St. Lucie. You can go to Spirit Fest and get your tickets there. And then I'm going to be in Memphis in a couple of weeks. I'm super excited about that. I'm doing a whole weekend of teaching there. Go to the website if you want to find out more, tbrandonrouse.com. I'm really enjoying where to go on this, like I'm really figuring this out. And, the plans for the rest of the United States and parts of Europe next year are just in the works. So I'm really excited about this. I've got some new partnerships coming up. I've got some people, feet on the ground, people I met through YouTube, people I met through classes, people I met through seminars. So it's been super exciting. And your videos have taken off again.
I've been doing really well. The channel has grown to just over 25,000, which is amazing.
You told me size didn't matter.
Oh, well, I was lying.
Well,
it's been really
well. Then I'm glad I didn't overstate.
But I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been supporting me and also being patient with me because I've cut back on a lot of my content because I've had this back issue and then I had the shoulder issue. So basically, all of me was kind of not functioning well. Yeah. It's been really difficult to keep up the output of what the monster YouTube wants us to feed it with. So I've cut right back, and actually I'm finding a kind of Libran balance, because we are in the sign of Libra at the moment. And so what I'm doing is the new moon, the full moon, lives for both, and an overview of the month ahead. And within that, you each get your individual zodiac sign talked about by myself, naturally. But I'm not doing the individual videos for each zodiac sign because they're too time consuming, and basically they were exhausting. So, because you're doing like these 12, 15-minute videos, it's like doing
Right.
3 feature films, and you can't keep up that. A
I-
month is just too much.
And listen, I'm going to chime in here because it's like, I think what people need to really understand is like, you and I actually have a really high quality standard, and we were like, we're burning ourselves out. We're doing like, we got to take a deep breath. And not that it was ever anything personal, because we're consummate professionals. We're, connected in our karmic path, and we recognize that. And we're like, take a breather. But you also watch the landscape of YouTube, and this is a completely different video. But you watch that people can be demonetized overnight for something stupid or something without due process or something, whatever. It scares you. All of a sudden, you're like, whatever. In the evolution of a YouTuber, it's like at first you do all your edits because you want to make sure you filter it, and you want to make sure you kind of do it the right way, and that just takes more
Yeah.
time. These live streams, I mean, we're working without a net. Penny can show herself right now, and ratings will just go up.
Yeah.
Right.
And even
I
your
wanna read you some of the-
monetization might go up.
I want to read you some of the comments here. Beverly's saying hi,
Yeah, go on.
Joanne, Andy. My kids are in front of the TV so I can see the two of you in peace for a few minutes. Andy also
Brilliant.
has she's totally crushing on you. She's saying you're
Oh,
freaking
I
gorgeous.
love her. I love
Annabelle's
Andy.
saying you're looking a little sad, but you're okay. But I think you just addressed that. And then Sherry, happy birthday. I follow you. Don't worry. Sherry, our contest winner from way back when we were building the channel.
Cheryl Tisdale.
Yep.
She's done really, really well. And happy birthday, Cheryl, because I know it's your birthday.
There it is. And listen, people that hang out with us do well.
And I have to say a special thank you and a special shout out to Mary S. from Cork in Ireland, who surprised me by basically sending me a box of like hand lotions and creams and things just to Penny Dick's Gozo. And it found me.
All I get is underwear and bras. Like, what is up with that? Like, what is...
And so I just have to say, thank you,
wonderful.
Mary. It found me.
Hey, did you ever get the book I sent you and the Twinkies?
No.
There is the mystery. So we're going to talk about this for 30 seconds. When the book came out, she and I had an episode and we were talking about Twinkies, about how you can't get it in, the UK because of whatever. Well, as it turns out, they confiscate that at border patrols and whatever, because it has some sort of like Neccolin, blah, 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 that you can't eat. That, by the way, is probably why it's so
damn. It might blow the plane up.
It might blow the plane up. Jesus, you're worried about copyright infringement? You're sitting here talking about blowing things up. All right, anyway. So, but it's good to be back. It's good to see everybody. And we've kind of worked out a schedule where we're going to follow the moon. So, kind of the in-between weeks of the new moon and the full moon, we're hoping to kind of get out there and kind of do this. We can work it into our schedule. Mary is saying thank you. And by the way, I was about to say Mary says hello and everything else. And Annabelle's so
Hi,
good.
Mary.
So good.
Thank you.
And
the perfume, the aroma of what you sent me is just beautiful.
I say the same thing when people send me things.
What, little panties? Little panties.
Listen.
Oh no, we're going to get taken down.
It's only happened a few times. I currently do not have any restraining orders. Pro or con, to be fair. But yeah, no, this is it's wonderful to see you again. It's wonderful to do this, and I just miss your voice. I miss talking to you the way that we do, and things are pretty awesome. And a shout out to my team out in Syracuse. They did an amazing job. Like, my ride or dies, man. They're fantastic. Sandy and Daryl, I'm proud of them. They were speaking in front of, two entire different groups, and the shop did amazing out there. So we had a great weekend. I'm
Wow.
on to the next thing though. That's the way this rolls. So, all right. So
Well done. Well done, you three. Well
yeah, well,
done.
four, really, the four of you. All right. So listen, how about we start talking about different
I
things?
think you should.
Yeah, different things for the for what it is that we're looking at. And of course, I have somebody sitting here that's trying to get in, and they need to kind of go with this. So I'm going to jump right in. Yes, we're back, and Penny, we're in a spot where, of course, we're going to talk about Israel. We're going to talk
Yes.
about this right now. And I'm going to mute
Yes.
for just a second. Why don't you start talking about
Okay.
this? Because these guys need to be told what to do, because nobody pays attention to any of the text that I say, because I'm a YouTuber and I do live stuff and they think they can show up whenever. So hold on one second, guys. Go ahead, Penny. Let her rip.
Oh, right. So we have been going through rather a kind of challenging time. And this is courtesy of Mars square Pluto. Mars in Libra. Now, you would think that Mars being in Libra would be kind of nice and gentle and kind. But actually, Libra has a dark side and an edge to it. Remember, it's cardinal. It's cardinal. It's an air sign. Libra can be quite fiercely stubborn. So even though it is about relationship, balance, it's about justice, Mars in Libra is upsetting that sense of kind of balance that they have. What you have to think about with Libra is the Egyptian kind of Book of the Dead, where you've got Anubis weighing the heart against the feather. And then you have a pretty good idea of what Libra is about.
Yeah, and listen, let's not mince words here either with the South Node chiming in. The South Node makes it very disruptive. So here's your peace, here's your harmony, here's the stuff where you came from, the stuff you already know. And it really is this challenge right now. Yeah, I know you brought up Venus a little bit, and I'm sorry I had to let this in. I have new landlords, and they haven't quite figured out my flow yet, which is don't bother me. I'm just
Shall
kidding.
I continue?
I'm just kidding. We're getting everything upgraded and for the heating system, so I'm grateful for that. Those guys are doing
I see. Well, fantastic.
But
do you want me to continue?
Yeah, no. Well, there's two things here for me. The first thing is really kind of, and I think this is a theme that we've seen in a lot of stuff, and that is how influential Pluto becomes to be in a lot of this stuff, because you've got this square energy into the South Node conjunct of Mars. This is, listen, I've been saying this with all of my videos in the past like 2 weeks, and I know you've brought it up. You have this open angle thing going on with Pluto, and it's obviously then square. It creates, the square trine energy to the nodes. And this is just empowerment for this change that we've been talking about. I mean, do you remember when we were talking about the nodes, we were talking about all the personal changes coming in? Yeah, I mean, just go back to that time, some of those videos about how the North Node is really kind of paying attention to, this is a time to stand in your truth. This is this is a time to not necessarily be in conflict, but to be able to say, I need to get past this in order to get out of conflict. So to be able to present things as is, to be able to present things as, expect it to be disruptive, you got to take it in stride. That is definitely something that needs to kind of go on. But what else about this chart? I mean, I can talk about this chart for the next 6 hours.
So could I, but let's not lose sight of the main event, because Pluto, which of course is our planet of transformation, that is actually stationing direct on the 10th. So we're not quite there yet. It's today. It's today. Yes, so it does actually go stations direct today. But Pluto is making this ongoing or on and off going T-square to the nodes in Aries and Libra. And if you think about it, both Aries and Libra, in a strange kind of way, represent fighting and war. You've got the duality in Libra, where we can get the fighting between two sides or two people, hence Mars in Libra. And then you've got Aries, who, of course, is ruled by Mars, that is the sign of war. So Mars is the god of war. So you've got this energy that was absolutely at its height on October the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And Mars was applying to Pluto. It wasn't quite exact, but it actually stays in this ongoing square with Pluto for quite a while, because even when it moves into Scorpio, it keeps in that out of sign square. So is it any wonder that over the weekend that we've just had, we had the outbreak of war? Because this, and what's interesting, if we just bring in Venus very quickly, Venus in Leo, of course, is sextiling Mars and the node, and it's also trining Chiron, our wounded healer, and the node. So you've got this interesting, it's almost like the feminine, the divine feminine brings in the gentle touch, but the Mars energy in Libra has overrode or overridden the gentleness of the Leo energy, although the Leo energy is saying, I'm great, I'm wonderful, because I'm in Leo. So I want to be boss, I want to be top, I want to stand out. And of course, conjunct Lilith.
Yeah.
The moon in Cancer, in the sign it rules, is vaguely squaring Chiron. And so it has a kind of role to play. And so you could almost say with the Cancer Capricorn axis, because the moon is coming up to be in opposition to Pluto, and then you've got Mars opposite the node and Chiron, you've got actually a situation which implores everyone to bring in healing and heal a wound that never heals, because that was what... Sorry,
the karmic return. It's the karmic return.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Chiron and Saturn are always going to talk about that karmic return, right? That part of like bringing it back, being able to have them come back in, all of that other good stuff. Well, the dynamic to this is also, I mean, you know, my observation in this is how important the cardinal signs are here, right? You've got Libra, you got, you know, obviously the sun, you've got the north node, south node, you've got what's going on with that, you know, with that tough square. And by the way, about another 2 hours after this, it created a grand cross, a cardinal, cardinal cross with the moon. So shortly after this, it was like, oh no, it's on. It has been initiated. At first, it was like, oh, there's a couple of bombs that went off. And then when they put two together, then they were like, we're actually under attack. And that is why a lot of the news organizations, and again, their job is to sell the radio ads, is that they're calling it their 9/11, because okay, it initiated here, but then when that moon moved into position for a grand cross, that
cardinal cross,
super hard cardinal energy. Like it's on like Donkey Kong.
Absolutely.
And don't forget too, the progression of Venus here moves into Virgo, which is going to be an opposition of Saturn in just literally a matter of, I mean, it shows. Hang
on, let me tell you. It's Venus. Let me see. Venus is still in Leo today. No, it's not. Sorry, I'm wrong.
No, we just moved into Venus here. And by the way,
Venus has moved into the Virgo kind of like in the last 24 hours. And it's actually at the moment conjunct the moon in Virgo, which is quite interesting for our moment in time. Venus and the moon are conjunct in Virgo.
So
what a lot of go on.
So guess what? That's an opposition of Saturn that is sitting there in Pisces drowning because it's
Yeah.
the only position for these 3 years, guys. Saturn
Yeah.
sitting in Pisces is like, we don't know
Yeah.
what to do. This is
Yeah.
where you have organizational like mismanagement, like say, I don't know, like maybe the house is, the speaker of the house gets ousted. Maybe technology is up is down and down is up. And by the way, don't forget too, like banking systems are still in wicked trouble. We could do another whole show on that. But and again,
Yes.
we're not here to cause fear. We're here to really just be a dialogue of it's in the sky. If you pay attention
Yeah.
to this stuff, you're like, okay, I can work with it. I can prepare it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, this is and as Venus does its movements, natural movements, it is eventually going to become opposition. It becomes wide conjunct to Neptune here in a couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
let me tell you something, that is where like the illusions are going to start getting lifted. This is where you're going to see the real cause and effect, because
Mm.
Venus and Neptune is like Venus being the grounded, what you love, what you know, your stability, your foundation. And then Neptune with the illusion and the creative, they're going to be like,
Yeah.
your creative accounting doesn't work anymore, Mr. Trump. Your
Mm-hmm.
creative wartime presence doesn't really work. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Like these are the things that uncover the bullshit that we need. It also personally makes you uncover your own bullshit. Just to let you
Yes.
know, right? Does that make sense?
The other thing before we jump into, I think we should have a look
Yeah.
at Israel with the war breaks out chart.
Yes.
The other thing that we haven't actually mentioned is that Venus is in opposition to Neptune. We know, we can see that.
Uh-huh.
And also, but it's a kind of what do they call it? A quincunx, one of those. But Venus is actually trining Chiron and the North Node, and it's in opposition to, yeah. I'm it's all right. I'm repeating myself.
I'm sorry.
repeating
Are you
myself.
getting my good side? Are you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, get me out of this. Right. Hello.
Oh, there you go. Is that how we do it? I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure everything. I was like, it's like, yeah, great take. How are you doing?
Whoa, nice segue.
I'm
Nice
always kidding. What a
segue.
segue. And actually, we're doing things a little bit different here. The way that I'm working and expanding, I've actually asked for help. That was one of the challenges I was having. And I want to give a shout out to Trish, the navigator, who you see in our feed here. She did this research for us.
Yeah, thanks, Trish.
She's been, she and I are working together to get her astrology chops up and vice versa. She's a great person to work with. And just a shout out to her. So we've got a research person that's helping us get stuff together, helping two cats like us along. All right, so let's take a look at Israel and the day that it happened. And as a rule of thumb, you go with 12 noon on the creation of a state, just because it could have been at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, unless there's like a decree that says that the hour at 13:24 is the start of our great nation. Typically they don't have that, so you take the noontime hour and look at the energy connected to the two things that really jump out at me is the Venus over Mars in the 12th house here.
Yes,
that one jumps out at me. And I know there's other stuff, and you already mentioned some things to me too, but that one jumped out as in like, hey, listen, the things that you're purposeful of, somebody else is going to try and impose the different, trying to impose the idea that you have to kowtow to us type of thing. And that's really, really strong. What else do you see here?
Well, Uranus conjunct their sun.
There you go.
Uranus, the planet of shocks, the unexpected, retrograde in Taurus. And Uranus is, and also, of course, Uranus is widely conjunct Jupiter. And Jupiter brings in that kind of spiritual side and religious side. So this was a sharp shock all about religion that woke them up in their sun in Taurus, conjunct their North Node, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, and as a quick look just on the inner wheel about Israel, make no mistake, it was created as a religious state. The sun is in the 9th house. It is
Yeah.
about their faith and their knowledge and what they have and their ancient wisdom, and it is their north node.
Yeah.
Wide
Yeah.
conjunct, but still conjunct. And it is incredibly purposeful. Always pay attention to the astrology with this stuff, guys. So you've got the north node and the sun connected in the ninth house. I mean, that just screams it. And look at Uranus over that sun, and then the sun over Neptune here, which is that illusionary thing of like, hey, you think you're in charge, right?
That's right. That's right.
Ooh,
And
it's a rich thing.
And also the event chart with Saturn retrograde in Pisces on the descendant, I think is in the sixth house. This is about timing. It's about cutting. It's about, it can be accidents, because it can be the body and the physicality. And I know that America have already sent an aircraft carrier to the Mediterranean to just kind of, float around and have a little bit of just presence in the yeah, go on.
I'm going to say it. The United States is so effing backwards, and it's so irresponsible how it's acting right now. I mean, we don't even have our own government together. And then we want to go tell the rest of the world how to be. We are creating chaos. Captain Chaos and his agents are winning this. That is what you should be most upset about. It is not about tax returns. It is not about missing documents. It is not about a coup. It is not about all those things. It is about all of those things. I'm sorry. Anybody that has pride in our country, unsolicited, needs to shut up. They just need to shut up. We are the weak link right now. We are not good at what we do. We are not world leaders. We are not leaders as humans. We are not doing a good job as being a people. Fortunately, we're going Pluto direct today.
Yeah, and that is going to shift. That is going to shift the energy. I think it means that we're going to see a little bit of a shift around what's been unfolding in Israel, because we can't. I mean, I think it'd be a good idea to look at the chart with Hamas and see what that energy shows.
Yeah,
but,
sure. Yeah, no.
The loss of life over the last 3 or 4 days has been, as you said, as bad as 9/11. This is horrific.
Listen. I woke up on Sunday morning to like a half a dozen messages. I ended up talking to a mother whose son works for the consulate in Israel, and he's gone. They're like without a trace, like nobody, like he's been taken. And I work on a lot of cases, and I'm like, is this above my pay grade? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
This stuff is real, guys. This stuff is real in the cosmic world. No spiritual bypassing anymore. Get your head out of the sand. This is in our front porch. And by the way, I just said this to my class, and I'm going to plug it here in a second, but what can you do? What can you tangibly do? I'm going to tell you what you can tangibly do. Hold the door open for somebody. Be kind to the person next to you. This is an energetic problem. There are people that are supposed to be in charge, that are supposed to speak to finding solutions. Our job isn't to put a cape fly over there and take out whoever. That's not, it crossed my mind, but that's not what our job is. Our job is to be kind to somebody, to forgive people, to let them in again, to bring them to a place of understanding, and do the best you can every day. You want to change the wars across the world? Do it that way. Because eventually people will be like, that doesn't sell. Something in us allowed the contentiousness of a shitty government to take over. Something in us allowed Russia to go, we're just going to take these guys back. Something in this allowed Hamas to say, I'm just going to bomb them. We're just going to, now is when we're going to prove our point. There is something energetic to this. And yes, astrology has a lot to do with it. But there's also positive outcomes in this too. I think we should go back to the chart. I'm sorry I had to grandstand.
No. And I'd like to say something, because I think it's really important that we don't forget that this is, again, ethnic cleansing. This, Israel have actually said this is the worst mass cleansing of the Jewish nation since the Holocaust. That needs to sink in to people.
Amazingly.
Because one of the other things that everybody kind of totally forgets is that on Saturday afternoon, when Hamas were bombing the, out of Israel in the morning, Afghanistan has had a devastating earthquake with the loss of 2,000 souls. The planet in general, I think, is going through a mass clearing of population, because this is what happens in the cycle of the weather and the planet in general. We grow, we reduce. It's a cycle of life.
By the way, 444 on the top of the board. We got 44 people watching. We got 4 people commenting on the Facebook side. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, on the YouTube channel. Don't forget pennydix.com and her stuff over on YouTube. You're going to see a sense here. Yeah, I can't imagine being in a world where your biggest sin is who you were born to. And again, we make our soul contract. We come in, and if we believe in any of this stuff, if we're worth our salt at any level, I chose the parents that I chose, just like those children of Hamas chose that role. Maybe they're the ones that are meant to break this cycle. Guys, like, you got to have faith that everybody's going to do their job and everybody's going to do their role. Right. Yeah. Sean, thanks for tuning in. Annabelle. Yeah. Listen, heart taps, not only, to Jewish people, like, how much more shit are they going to get? Why? Because they were born in an area that everybody wanted to stay claim to. I mean, and by the way, there's a bit, I'm thinking about doing a special on this about the astrocartography of that area. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, everything's astrology, guys. Everything is astrology. We got to get back to this because we got to stay on point here because Penny's a Taurus and she likes to be about time.
Which is unusual, actually, because really I should be a Capricorn then, because then Saturn would be my ruler.
Well, listen, give me 2 seconds here, and let me tell you guys about my weekly bee. You're going to go to tbreaderruss.com, sign up for the email list. I'm about to send out to everybody that's signed up here in the last week and a half out in Syracuse and so forth and so on about how to join my weekly bee. That's where we do an intuitive class every week, lasts a little over an hour. We do a little bit of astrology. We take an aspect and explain it. We do a couple of tarot cards. And by the way, guys, get ready because we're still doing 1, 2, 3. Penny, you got your cards ready?
Oh, yeah, I got them here.
And then,
they're all here
and
ready.
then we take another subject like a crystal or a spirit animal, something to kind of build your dictionary. And then we take a topic every week. And it's $44 a month. It's super cheap. It's $11 a class. It lands in your inbox if you can't make the actual recording, and you build your intuition every day in your psychic dictionary. That's my plug, everybody. tbreaderruss.com. Sign up for the email list. I'm going in a different direction with all this. You guys will see it in other videos. All right, here we go. Let's talk about Hamas. Right. Which, by the way, I really, when I first heard this again, and you guys do know what I'm about to say is tongue in cheek, but my favorite Hamas is roasted red pepper with a little cheddar cheese and like some. Oh, that's sorry.
That's why we have religious problems.
Why? Actually, Hamas is much, and if you read the decree of Hamas that was produced in 1988, which is why we're working with this with the August 18th, the 8/18/1988. They knew exactly what they were doing with that date of release. Okay. They, eights are wild and all of that. It is the hierarchy of the portal to creator. So to them, this is the portal to Allah. They chose that date for a reason. But more importantly, when you read the tenets and the decree, I mean, basically, article number 13 basically says jihad is the only way. Their belief system is to kill the other person, just to let you guys know. There are parts of it where women are also equal, but everybody has a role. Like, there's things that they walk back on some of their stuff. But in the same breath, they turn around and say Sharia law is the only law of the land.
Yeah.
So these are people that do not compromise. They do not look at the other side, and they are not elevating in their enlightenment. And I don't care if I become a target somewhere. I'd just assume be a martyr. Then I'd rather be a martyr speaking the truth than what have you. There is parts of Islam that are very peaceful. This sect is not part of that peacefulness. So I want to make sure that this is very clear. When I'm critical of Hamas, I'm critical of Hamas. I'm not critical of Islam, because the tenets of Islam are actually incredibly peaceful. The pillars of Islam are actually great ways to live.
Yeah.
Hamas takes it and makes it militant. So let's look at the chart.
So, well.
Over to you, Petty.
Oh, thank you.
Petty's sitting there going, he's a dead man walking.
Well,
whatever.
Listen,
come at me, bro.
I'm actually, I've done it on my own device because it makes it a little bit easier for me to see
it a little better. I understand.
Than the chart. So, and it's come up slightly differently, but it's more or less the same. It's the same. I think, I don't know. It's slightly different, but the you know, we have a Scorpio ascendant for Hamas, which I think is interesting because this is about the sting in the tail and yes, but I got you, didn't I? Because it's about wanting to be right at any cost. And of course, in a sense, they, as you were saying, Brandon, they kind of twist the truth of Islam. And I hope I'm not now making myself a target, but they twist the truth to suit their militant desires, shall we say, or that is my sense of it. And, you know, I can be corrected if I'm wrong, but, you know, the fact that I think there's a terrible fear among certain sort of sectors of Islam that are actually terrified of the feminine.
Yeah. So this to me is that evolution for them. This is that challenge. This is that North Node in Aries for them, where they have to stand up and speak their truth and say, this isn't okay. We are not warlike. We are not warlike. They're really not. They're adamant. Don't get me wrong. Muslims can be adamant, just like there are Christian sects that are adamant. But it's when you go over the part that's like, come on, guys, can we just quit killing each other? Never in the history of ever has a war ever worked out well. No. People have gotten rich and people have died. Those are the only two actual outcomes of every war. And Trish points out something interesting too, that it happened.
Yeah, tell me.
Crescent moon.
Tell me.
That it was the Mars conjunct the crescent moon, which is in the crescent moon, of course, is the Muslim.
Of course.
And
yes,
listen, it's a beautiful tradition. And by the way, yet another example of where astrology is based in the faith system for them. It is based in the crescent moon. It is the, you know, the Prophet Muhammad was believed to be the crescent moon, that everything else was dark, but he was the light. He was the conduit to it. So there's some of the symbolism. I'm oversimplifying it. And I know that there's more people that know more than I do, but, you know, it's, this had really particular timing. Really particular timing, right? And the part of it that people really need to kind of recognize is this was planned. This was strategically planned. How did we miss it? Well, because there's so many other factors into this, but when you start to pick it apart, they're doing the exact same thing over and over again. They are waiting for the next cycle. And by the way, when you look at things like, and we don't have time to go over it, but Trish and our research side of it pointed out that there are a lot of similarities between this fight and the 6-Day War. Like it is ridiculously similar. We just don't have time to capture all of it. But it was pretty fantastic. Yeah, thank you guys. I hope you guys appreciate the shout out I'm giving to Trish. She really did a lot of work helping us.
I want to point out that Pluto is squaring the moon of Hamas, and that Uranus is squaring the sun. So you've got you know, pretty harsh energies there with that Pluto square the moon, Uranus square the sun, and also Saturn square Jupiter. And Neptune is square Saturn. So there's a lot of quite fierce fighting energy, fighting talk. You know, if we look where Mercury is squaring Neptune. So illusion, deception, delusion. We're never quite sure who is telling us the truth. Maybe that's what they feel. Maybe they feel that they are misunderstood. as certainly probably the Jewish nation feel they are misunderstood. They have a kind of a credo as to how they live their life, and why can't we just let them get on with it? And why can't, in turn, we just let Islam get on with living their lives?
Well, because they're arguing over the property. This is,
Yes.
and by the way, you see this is where you see many things like this. I have people come to me for readings, and it is because they're like, and their first, I'll be like, okay, so, do you have any questions? They're like, yes. Is my mother happy with how we handled the will? Well, that just tells me right out of the gate somebody mishandled something, right? I wait for my intuitive 8-ball answer, but in my mediumship connection here. But what I want to point out is it is the exact same energy. This is old energy coming back, being pissed off that they didn't get their share. It is the anger and the argument about people that were never really satisfied with the answer, and they agreed to it because they were just going to regroup and then come back and fight you again. This is a very immature energy, guys. This is an incredibly immature energy. It is a low emotional IQ. It is, I can't believe that you do this. And listen, we're not even going to get into all of the stuff with the kidnapping and the parading of people around and all this other good stuff.
No.
That is not respectful to who we are as a people, as a human. This is how civilizations collapse, because we let shit like this go on. I'm not saying we have to take people out. I mean, we have to help them either come correct or they can't be here. Yeah. You get kicked out of a shamanistic tribe because you don't get the concept of the tribe. If you get the concept of the tribe, they welcome you in. And if you're sick, we're sick. We're going to nurse you back to health. I don't get that here. No. I just don't. No. And it sounds like I'm negative, and it's not Islam. That's why I wanted to make sure everybody understood that there is a distinct difference between Hamas and Islam. They use Islam as one of their weapons, and it's not. And Islam should stand up to them. But of course, if they say, "Oh, well, if you speak against Islam or against Hamas, then you're actually part of the problem. You might as well side with the other guys." Exactly. Exactly. It is also something that when we, yes, Janice notes that it was 50 years almost exactly. And I think it was the Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur. I went to 2 Jewish colleges. All right. So yeah, let's take a look. Actually, I'm going to get out of the way. Penny, talk a little bit about what's going on your website. Get everybody updated. This is beautiful.
Okay. So while I've been doing less content and putting out less videos, we have now at last released our natal chart mini course. So how to read your birth chart, digital mini course via my website, pennydix.com. And it's got 4 little videos in it, as well as some dialogue. Clearly, obviously, there's some text and dialogue. And the videos are so that you can get a sense of, say, why is my time of birth important, etc., etc. Those are the kind of sort of things I put in the videos. And it's got 50% off at the moment. So it's only $19.99, and you should buy it. It's really good. And we've also got a moon calendar for 2024. It's available as a digital download, and I can't remember how much it is, but it's not very much. Or it might be free. I can't remember. I'll have to check my own website. Terrible, isn't it?
I love you. You're the best marketer ever. But let me tell you something. If you had a piece of bling on and it was jewelry, you'd know all about it.
Oh, absolutely. And that's going to be coming soon, because I am going to link up with the lovely lady, the young lady that created, like, for instance, this wonderful ring I'm wearing, which is recycled gold. I sound like I'm on QVC. Listen,
I want a calendar with you with nothing but jewelry on.
Oh, right. Well, we'll see about that.
Too much?
Yeah, but I just want to say also, I am going to be doing more lives, because I love doing lives. And so I've got a live stream on Saturday evening, European time, 1830, and that's going to be all about the new moon total solar eclipse, which we're going to be looking at very shortly in connection with Israel and the war. And also, I'm doing a live on Sunday, and I've decided, probably time permitting, I'm going to do a live every Sunday with the week ahead kind of heads up for the astrology, because it's fun and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
so there we go.
Well, and kudos to you. I mean, I've watched you grow in this, with the presentation side of it or whatever. You've just gotten really natural at it. You really have.
Thank
Like that.
you.
Well, it's a thing. It takes a little bit. And it was that thing that I hinted at earlier where you're like, hey, sometimes sometimes you got to edit it and, oh my gosh, we got to scrub that. We got to do that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, drives you crazy. But speaking of the eclipse, you mind talking about the eclipse a little bit here?
Yeah, I think we should, because it is interesting that we have this total annular solar eclipse, ring of fire in Libra new moon. It's a bit of a mouthful, but then there we go. So it's
tell me something you're not used to. You're terrible.
Let's keep it clean. Remind you, I led you straight into that one, didn't I? So this new moon, we know that new moons are about bringing in new things,
right?
Manifesting. Let's talk about it. Peace, for goodness sake. Love, love, not war. What has happened to people on this planet? And this new moon total solar eclipse is giving certainly the northern part of South America, the western side of the United States of America, a wonderful opportunity to get some balance, fairness, and some direction in where they are going, and to come together and discuss. There needs to be dialogue between people, and not arguing. People need to come together, debate, look at dialogue. I mean, at least, for instance, in Israel today, President Netanyahu has organized that the whole of their government, opposition and everyone, are coming together as a unified sort of front government for the duration of this event, which makes common sense. But then why can't countries and religions all sit down and say, I respect your views. I respect the way you like to
explain it. I'll explain it really simply. The people that would sit at the table think the group that's aggressing this, Hamas, looks at the people that would sit at the table as part of the problem. They would look at their other Islamic brother as part of the issue. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem, Penny. And you're right. Why can't we all just get along? The astronomy of it, just to give you guys a recap so then you know what you're looking at. The new moon is when the moon is next to the sun astrologically. And in astronomy, it is basically so that it's like it shines beyond it, right? So
what is this is an apogee. So the moon is actually in its apogee, which means it's at its furthest away from planet Earth, which is why the whole of the moon is not covering the sun for this solar eclipse. And we get what's known as a ring of fire.
Correct. And, notwithstanding there, Johnny Cash, what you're doing is you're seeing it. You're going to see it really kind of burn, which means that there's still light. Islam will see it as in like, hey, there's still light. There's still the prophet. There's still things. Christianity will see it where, and by the way, Christianity, Catholicism, the eclipses were incredibly important to Catholicism. Pope John Paul II was born on an eclipse and he died on an eclipse. There are things that are connected to our faiths and religions and our walks of life that allow you to really kind of see that they pay attention to this stuff. This is huge. And don't think for a second that not only the astrology of the attack times, along with the transit that's going through, includes these two upcoming eclipses, because we have another one in another couple of weeks. Right?
Yes, in Taurus, yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look at and by the way, if you're in the Southwest, just my quick note on this is this really kind of mirrors the Shaman Trail, the Shaman line, going from Mount
Wow.
Shasta. Thank you very much. I got stories. Through
Mm,
places like Sedona, down through into Peru, Machu
mm,
Picchu, and then like Titicaca. Like all of this line is really affected during this. I'm telling you,
yeah.
the Earth is waking up, everybody. The Earth is
Oh
waking up.
yes.
That's what I get from this eclipse. But let's look at
Oh
the
yes.
astrology of it.
Mm.
Um, and we're going to take a look at Israel and Hamas real quick here. What jumps out for you?
Right. Okay. So
Look at that road. Look at that road jam in the
it's a
second
little
house.
small. I'm going to have to get it up on
Oh God!
my own device
Here we
because
go again with
I
the
can't
size.
I can't I can't see small things.
How that explains why you're single.
What are we- I choose to be single.
Listen, you guys start to think of 1, 2, or 3. We're gonna hit the
Yeah,
tarot here in about another 6 minutes. So
absolutely. So
I made it
okay.
as big as
So
I
this
can. I made the camera angle as big as I can make it.
Okay, one of the things that really leaps out at me is that we still, of course, we've got this Uranus, retrograde Uranus, the planet of waking up, excuse me, of freedom, of rebellion, conjunct in the ninth house, the sun in Taurus. I need to clear my throat.
Yeah, and
You'll have to think over.
let me take that over because with that conjunct at the 21-degree angle, it's a 3, which is about
Yes.
that synchronization of earth and sky and creator. You are also in the position here that listen, this is where all of the other small stuff really comes in. Where things like Eris comes in, where that's conjunct with the North Node, where things
Yes.
like this is just I'm having a hard time picking out the things that are
Which
necessary.
to look
But
at.
to me,
Yes.
having Uranus and Jupiter in the ninth house here is very much like things are going to come to light. And with Venus sitting on the ascendant here, really kind of being like, listen, who do you love? Pick a side. Pick a side. That to me is saying pick a side. And if you love me, love me. If you want to let me go, let me go. There ain't no third direction.
And can I tell you about the dwarf planet Meki Meki?
Oh,
Because
please
Meki
do.
Meki.
The one I don't have.
Okay, no, it's not on this program, but I know where it is, and it's at 7 degrees of Libra, approximately. So it's almost conjunct their Neptune, which I think is very interesting because Meki
Right.
Meki is a creator god. It's about basically birth and death. So you create a population or a civilization, and then you destroy a civilization. It's conjunct their Neptune. Neptune, it's about religion. This is about the kind of the longing that parts of Islam have for the eradication of the Jewish nation, which
and listen, I do want to say this too, and it sounds like I'm playing both sides, but I'm just being very humanist about this. I don't think Israel has been innocent here.
no.
I think the Gaza Strip, from everything that I've read, the Gaza Strip is basically truly a third world country where, in Israel, everything is all set. I understand that there's no love lost. I understand that if you give them an inch, they take a mile. But when you leave people in poverty this long, and Hamas definitely fits that level, they're eventually going to say, we're going to do a dirty deal and get some bombs and send them your way. Like, it's just a matter of time, right? So maybe this is also the comeuppance of saying, you know what, Israel needs to be inclusive. Israel needs to be connected to this. Israel needs to be connected to the Palestinians, to the Islamic nation, to be able to say, like, these are your monument sites, these are our monument sites. We will turn the world on its ear. Conflict drives our economies, guys. What are we going to do without that? Well, we have to figure out a new way of economy. And listen, kindness is the new economy. Whether the rest of the world is caught up yet or not, kindness is the way that this is going to go. right? How you
Mm.
treat other people is the new energetic value. It's not the
And
dollar.
and one of the interesting things, because I'm just looking at the aspects, is
Yeah.
that Uranus is, hang on, no, the new moon is actually trining Israel's Uranus. So, and I think in the other chart we've got
Oh,
the new moon squaring. So I think that my feeling is this new moon is better for Israel than it may be for Hamas.
well, let's take a look at Hamas. And this, for some reason,
Yes.
Hamas is a little bit bigger, it's a little more insecure. The thing that jumps out at me is that this eclipse for Hamas, now I'm going to go back to Israel here for a second,
Mm.
is happening in its second house. And if we're just
Yes.
following house rules here, the second
Mm.
house is about the stability. It's about the value system. It's about,
Yeah.
kind of like what you love and how you do it and its grounding and foundation. Hamas, 12th house, everybody, the house of the undoing. And
Yeah.
again, I'm not predicting the end of anything or whatever. This may make them very unraveled. This may make them very unknowing. And by the way, but this is the thing that jumped out at me as well. First of all, the 12th house, all the garbage going on in there. But
Mm.
then you have Vesta sitting in the 9th house. Somebody's about to get a lesson.
Yes.
Somebody's
Yes.
going to get this right, and they're going to break the handle up. They're going to firmly input it, and then they're going to break it off at the handle, because that is this
Mm.
energy. This energy.
And
Oh
the new moon in Libra is also conjunct their natal moon in the 12th house. And their moon is at the anaretic point, so it's applying to move into Scorpio. But of course, you've got that transiting Mars that is, we know, squaring Pluto in the other chart, but
Yeah.
it's conjunct. So transiting Mars in this chart is conjunct their natal Pluto, which I find very, very interesting, because this is about the transformation, the lust for power, that will go to any lengths
They're undoing.
to achieve it. And as you'll rightly say, because that Mars is in the 12th house, so they may just trip themselves up. And let's face it, they're dealing with a nuclear power.
Dude, that's, I mean, you pick your
I'm not
battles.
suggesting in any way
You pick your
that,
battles, right? And again, well, I think that also goes to the haves and the have-nots. And listen, if we're going to talk about the United States being judicious, we should also say, Israel, you got to be judicious. Why are they living in poverty? Let's call it spade to spade. And I'm not justifying bombing. I'm not justifying parading people around in religious context. I'm going to say this, though. Why did you allow people that lived 100 yards away from you not eat? Fuck you. What do you believe in? I'm sorry. Religion has been the downfall of society time and time again. When you follow the stars, it doesn't care. You don't have to be like, I'm Team Venus, I'm Team Mars. Like that, don't be stupid. Religion is the context of manipulated information time and time again. When you rip off the Band-Aid and all that's left is the astrology, it just is. Right?
Yeah.
We are hell-bent on getting this wrong with religion. Hell-bent.
And Hamas, I think, are deeply wounded. If you look at that natally, their Chiron conjunct their Venus in the 9th house. And as you pointed out, transiting Vesta conjunct both that Venus and Chiron. They are deeply wounded. And the thing is, I think that they have a belief system which is very difficult for, say, the other party to really comprehend, and vice versa. So we have this dichotomy, because nobody is going to budge. They go, no, I want to do it my way. No, it's my way, my way, my way. And you've got to have some kind of collaboration here. There's no marriage. There's no Libran marriage. Libra is about union. It's bringing together two facets, two people, two parts. This is a new moon in Libra.
Yeah.
So if for everyone who is listening and watching, think about it in your own lives as, where do you need to reunite with someone? Where do you need to make amends with another? Where do you need to heal a relationship wound? Because I think the new moon energy, the solar eclipse, is like the loss, because it, the sun is hidden. So the masculine in this, the divine masculine, is hidden by the divine feminine. And maybe the divine masculine with that ring of fire is saying, but what about me? Who cares for me? It's always about the woman. And there has been this, if we think of all the kind of movements that have been going on in the last 15, 20 years, it's about, back to the sort of, individual women's rights, the Me Too movement. Men can't hardly breathe at a woman before they're accused of rape.
I mean, I made you sign all the paperwork before we went on again. Am I right? Kidding. There you go. Oh, that's terrible.
And I'm not criticizing the feminine desire for
to be treated
all
equally.
of this. Yes, but somewhere the balance is all wrong. The balance is wrong.
I have to tell you, as a male in the spiritual journey side of things, I am here to tell you that I was in corporate recruiting. Eat what you make, right? And it was pretty cutthroat. It is nothing compared to the spiritual side of things. They will cut you down as a male, as a developed medium, as a male in this industry. I have been attacked more times than I can count. And listen, in the parts that they were right, in the 10%, 15% I needed to learn from, I'll take my lumps with that. But the other 85% that was just made up because you're an angry woman and I represent some sort of like something that you didn't work through traumatically, or I am representing some sort of social construct that I had no responsibility for. I have seen firsthand how that has been in a reverse role. I was discriminated against. I was criticized for. I was shamed. I was whatever. And I laugh about it now because I'm like, you call yourself a light worker? These are developed people and good, talented people, by the way. I've never said a darn bad thing about them, but they're horrible friends. They're horrible colleagues because they haven't wrapped their arms around that other stuff that wasn't there. What is religion but the repeat of information? It's this long telephone tag thing of like, well, I heard about this guy named Jesus. You don't know. You don't know. I don't care how to listen. I've done over 30,000 readings in my career. Not once did somebody say, oh, looks, there's God. They talk about the other side. They talk about love. They talk about the connection. They talk about the human experience. But not one of them says, yeah, I got to go punch in because God needs to see me. Not fucking one of them. And I'm not saying God doesn't exist. I am just saying that our conceptualization of what we're being told doesn't exist because I am a scientist. I'm trying to figure this out. And the more that I look, that's why this Hamas thing drives me crazy. That's why this Trump thing in the United States screwing this up drives me crazy. It is ego. We have not gotten our arms wrapped around the human experience. That's why we're failing, everybody. That's why you're feeling the way you do most days.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's right.
Pisces has spoken.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it's time for the tarot.
Oh!
We've been at it hammer and tongs for an hour and 3 minutes.
That's about right. You're welcome, everybody. Good night. Mwah. Oh, I got card number 1. Did you pull yet?
Right. Hold on.
All right, guys. What's your choice? Card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. Go ahead.
Oh dear. What do I want? Oh.
What don't you want?
Yeah. I think I'll go for number 2. I'm going for number 2.
You're going number 2?
Yeah.
I'm going to go number 3. I've seen a lot of people pick number 1. I'm going to go with number 3. I'm okay with that. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So you want to start with number 1?
Okay. Hold on. Right. I'm shuffled and I'm going to cut in 3 piles. I'm going to have pile 1,
so much
pile 2, pile 3. Right.
Such a Taurus.
So my number one is, are you ready?
Are you ready? Are we going to show at the same
time?
Are
you ready for this?
Are you ready for this? The 2 combo play. Oh, here we go. Number one.
I want it this side.
Number one. What do you do?
I'm trying to find the camera.
We're over here, hon. By the way, less whiskey and less bagels on Whiskey and Bagels. So I pulled out the 3 of Cups. We're talking about celebration here. Penny,
and this is interesting because it's the moon.
Of course it is.
So, and actually, it's almost like a ring of fire, because if you look at that picture closely, you've got the moon covering it like an eclipse, and the fire, the ring of fire around it. And of course, it's number 15, 16, 17, 18, isn't it? Number 18.
So you're going to love what I'm about to say, because I pull out the 3 of Cups.
Yes.
3 plus 18 is 21. What's the angle of the eclipse?
21.
Bingo! 21. Look at us work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, zingo.
Love it. So how do you interpret this then for people that have chosen number 1?
I think you number ones have got to get out there, get naked under the eclipse. I don't care if it's the middle of the day. Go have a good time. You got to celebrate this. Share an eyeball, share some wine, have a good time.
Get manifesting. Get manifesting and get healing. You know, have those conversations with people that you care about, that you may have, you know, inadvertently drifted away from.
Yeah, isn't that fun? I love it. This is a great poll. Number ones, you might have hit the lottery today. I'm just telling you. All right. Number twos.
I chose number 2.
Hold on a second. Let me point out a couple of number 2s here. Judy, chiming in, Judy. I'm trying to go back a little bit here. Judy, coming in for you. Debbie, also a 2. Latoya, good to see you, love. 2s. All right, number 2s. How are we doing this? Oh, if it's not Barry White's fault. Look at this. We got the 8 of Wands, and then you've got the Lovers. By the way, I actually think you're turning it around here, number 2s, because the Lovers card is actually the choice. The 8 of Wands, the 8 of Wands is, of course, that fast-moving energy. Together, that's a 14, which is really a 5. You got good changes here. You might have struck out before, but better choices are coming. What do you think, Penny?
Yeah, I do. I also think in very mundane terms, it can be news from overseas and connections with a loved one overseas. Brandon, connections with a loved one overseas. I chose number 2.
It's swallowing too much. What's going on with you? You're terrible. Yeah, and you know,
get it in the right place.
And you know, the Lovers card is also Gemini, so this is also some of that air energy, you know, that you may be connected to, and being able to really kind of like think about this. This is going to be an activity of the mind. This is going to be about connecting with somebody. This is about like, hey, this is this is good energy.
Would you say the Wands sign is cardinal?
Actually, that is a fire sign, and those of you that are in the Tarot Club, we're getting together tomorrow night. Check your email.
Okay, so what's you see this as fire energy?
Yeah, this is actually Sagittarius energy. So this is
okay.
Yeah, this is a little impulsive too. By the way, you might be listen. If it's at the end of the bar and it's 2 a.m. and the Lovers card and the 8 of Wands comes out, it means you're not going to be alone. You're probably going to be busy from 2 to 4 in the morning. I'm just saying.
Hey,
not the first time.
Sounds cool to me.
Not the first time. By the way, Annabelle's laughing because she's like, "Ooh, I choose number 1 and I'm naked." I'm sorry, that's not how you said it. But you said something about being naked. Debbie being a life path 5. Latoya's laughing at her. She chose 1 there. Being quick and in a hurry, right, Trish? And Joanne picked 3, so we got to move on to 3. But I love
on to 3.
Number 2.
Okay.
Number 2. Number 3.
Number 3.
Did I pick number 3 here?
I don't know. Did you?
I think I did, because I saw people choose 1. I know you chose 2. How do you feel about 2 for yourself, by the way?
Well, actually, I think it's pretty cool, because I think it's about kind of opening up a little bit more. And, you know, I've been going through quite a dark place personally with health issues. So I think I'm, you know, because I've got positive solutions for my health issues, it's enabling me to cope with the pain, because the pain obviously is still there and constant. And so I feel that the number 2 energy is positive for me, very positive.
Listen, I didn't push you and I let you heal.
Yes. Yes.
I see you. Got it. So let's talk about 3.
Here we go. Here we go.
Really? Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry, honey.
No, you're not sorry. You're not sorry. So you're not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
So number 3 is the Knight of Swords is about quick, fast moving, new ideas, but talk about the five of cups here. I don't think it's as ominous as what you think, but go ahead.
No, I don't think so, because you're going, oh no, I'm a number 3 and it's the 5 of cups. But this is the 5 of cups, not using the Libran energy to actually look forward, because this person is looking backwards. And there is energy here that is still ready to be used. There is 2 full cups, and 5 is change, and it's positive, and the Knight of Swords. Something is coming in suddenly that actually lifts your spirits, I feel.
And it's kind of like galloping along. Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing it wrong. I got to go. This is something that stimulates the mind. It is something that is a new idea, a different concept to it. And I think combined with the 5 of cups, yes, there are 2 cups still standing there behind them. And by the way, maybe it's you're ready for that soulmate energy to take. Maybe you're ready to have that thing where it's like, I'm going to look at the 3 things that I failed. I'm going to learn from it. Very karmatic, everybody. A lot of karma conversation going on this week. And that you karmatically are ready to actually make a commitment to the 2, to the idea of you will share somebody or something with somebody. And this new idea coming in is about your changes, your ideas of saying, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then the 5 of cups is kind of like, don't forget where you came from, but now you're ready. It's a great learning card. I love your take on that.
So do you want to look at the 3 together, or as a general reading for everyone? Now?
I mean, we already blew out our timeline. We really do try, but we talk a lot.
I know. We're 12 minutes over.
Never see it be like an hour and 10 and an hour 11, right? Oh, Wendy. So what do we do? Are we pulling a card for each other?
Shall we? Shall we? What do our guests want? What do our viewers want?
I don't know, but I have to shuffle these up again.
All right, I'm going to shuffle.
Perception, not perfection, Elizabeth says. Mimi really likes your take on number 3, Penny.
Oh, thank
Wendy,
you.
I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you. Congratulations, you newlywed. Pauline, love to see you. Yes, we'll pull one for each other. Yes. Elizabeth, we are a bunch of airheads. Don't you worry about that. Mary S., I'm glad you pulled number 2 for you. And Elizabeth, yes, she says, oh, Lord, incoming air and perfection, glass half full kind of guy. Oh, my gosh, I like that. Thank you, Annabelle. I appreciate the compliment.
Mary S., I want to talk to Mary S. Are you feeling better, my love?
Hope she is. I'll let her comment. I'll read it to you when you see it.
Okay.
Cat Marie, thank you for coming in. I love the black cat as your emoji there. Number 3, hope it resonated with you. Rita! Mwah, Rita, love you. See you tomorrow night. There you go. Judy, glad you're getting stuff out of this. Janice, always so good to see you. Life Path 11. I actually have a video that I'm working on different life path work. I actually have somebody that I'm connected to here at the shop and whatever. She does a lot of work life path numerology stuff in her readings, and I want to bring her on to talk about that. So here's what happens. Like, I don't want to share too much before we pull this card, but what Penny and I went through was we're both Leo risings, and we weren't fighting for the stage. That wasn't it. we were fighting the idea of how many stages to be on. That was really what it came down to. And we realized that neither one of us were the enemy of each other. We were actually meant to help each other, which is why we had to figure out the schedule. Penny's going to have great guests on because she's a great interviewer. I tend to think that I can do this as well. And when we meet these people, we find them to be fascinating. When Penny and I end up talking, yeah, we talk about our own stuff a little bit, but we talk about like people we met and influences we've seen and that sort of thing. It is a working mechanism of friendship and being a colleague and everything else. And I cannot recommend that you have those types of relationships. It makes you a better person. You make me a better person.
I'm starting a new series, which will be probably monthly, just called Penny in Conversation.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Oh, right. So
keep going.
The one that I've just done, where I've actually been on Julie Poole's channel. So Julie Poole, who is a hypnotherapist and tarot reader and lovely, lovely channeler, she has just interviewed me on her channel, and that video is going to be released on my channel on Thursday. And so that'll be the first one of a sort of series. I will then have her back on my channel to interview her. And I'm going to invite Brandon to be a guest on my channel.
I got to warn you, I talk a lot and I got press.
I know.
Yeah, I got press kits, I got videos, I got all those sorts of things.
Anyway, I'm going to have In Conversation with Brandon Ross.
Hi, everybody. I'm a Pisces. I'm a Leo rising and I'm Aquarius moon. I like long walks on the beach. And I like texting until midnight, but not 12:01. So
absolutely. Right. So I have a card for you. I have a card for you.
Oh, yeah? I got a card for you.
Would you like to see it?
Is this a euphemism? Of course I want to see it. You know I want to see it. Been a year and a half and you haven't showed me. Shut up.
No. No way. No. No. That's unbelievable. Oh my God.
So the meaning of this card, so I'm flipping through and you guys saw me kind of flip through and I'm like, do. And I waited for one of them to pop out. And this is the one that popped out.
And this is the one that popped out for me.
Are we on the same page then?
I think this is, I just think it's extraordinary. And the, you know, we are like, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 miles apart.
And we're sitting here shuffling and people are coming to the door and we're show prep and shout outs to Trish. And, you know, we got a lot of distractions.
This is, what do you think this means?
Well, the card itself is that you're practically perfect in every way. I call this the Mary Poppins card.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Practically perfect in every way. And we're going to bring in numerology because you got to pay attention to this stuff. It's yellow, it's healing. It is, she's in the garden of what has been grown. The 9 represents the spiritual evolution. 2 9s together, 9 plus 9 is 18. Guess what? It's still a 9, everybody. And it is about you and I evolving and elevating. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Guys, you cannot make this up. We're too authentic of people to like try and bullshit people. We just that was legit.
Well, I wouldn't be able to find it quickly enough.
You can't find your freaking necklace most of the time. They're like, what's my necklace? And do you remember that? I actually started doing outtakes of you just feeling yourself up. It's pretty funny. You were like, where's my microphone? It's like, it's in front of you. And by the way, how is Boris, by the way? I see him sticking his head out. Yeah, there you go.
He's still here. He's still here.
Well, and, you know, and somebody's mentioning about being, you know, soul flames, you know, or twin flames and soulmates and that sort of thing.
You and I.
We are karmically connected. We can't shake each other in this regard.
Yeah, we are soulmates or twin flames or whatever. And, you know, it is what it is.
And just so then everybody can kind of like mark your calendar, sometime on that week of the 23rd to the 25th, we're going to do another one here. We'll stay in touch, and do things. You never know when we might say, hey, we got to jump on this for an emergency or
yes,
something or another.
depends what's going on.
But
we will definitely be back for the full moon lunar eclipse on the 28th. So we will be back that week. I think, again, it's on a Saturday. So we'll be here on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I should think it'll be, won't it?
Mm-hmm. And listen, the 9, somebody Astrobows actually mentioned endings. It also means elevation. So the ending of the old thing and then the recreation of the new thing. We knew we needed to kind of recreate this a little bit, have different goals and whatever. We needed to ask for help. We needed to say to somebody like Trish, like, can you just help us with this and do a half hour of research and throw it our way? Because
this for me is also about, because we both picked the same card, it's like some kind of confirmation of this is the new beginning. This is what we're meant to be doing.
Wrapping it up and moving it on.
Hey, guess what? We're going to be affluent.
Nothing wrong with that. And by the way, affluent is an energetic term.
Yes.
Quit looking at money as what you have in your bank.
Yes.
Commodity is kindness is the new, it's the new economy. And listen, I can't not say this. And my camera angle stinks, but I have a new shirt out. It's called Keep Going. And listen, jump into that. It's keep going, keep writing, keep inspiring, keep helping, keep exploring. And that is a theme to just keep going. Shit happens. Keep going. You did great. Keep going. There are things to encourage one another. Oh, you're not a nice person. Keep going. Like, there's a lot of ways you can take it, right? But at the end of the day, what's beautiful is that when you recognize and you see your souls and you see your connection with one another and your purpose, it all becomes clear, guys. So I hope you guys find it. Hey, you ready for a heart tap? We're going to send out the heart tap to everybody in Israel and in Palestine. We hope that Hamas understands that we really are all one. We hope Israel is judicious. We hope the United States gets their head out of their ass. We really do hope that Russia runs out of guns and missiles and actually realizes what the problem really is. And I hope the people of Ukraine have learned from this. So
we hope that Iran behaves.
We didn't really touch on that, did we? A lot of proxy war here.
Oh, yeah.
And the people of Afghanistan and the people of Tunisia and Morocco and the people of Libya. Guys, the world's on fire. The only thing you can control is your kindness. All right, guys, heart tap. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
PennyDix.com, tbrandonruss.com. See you there. Sign up for our stuff. Bye-bye.
Bye.